Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. Most people don't see you coming. You're not loud, flashy, or desperate for attention. You don't waste time proving yourself to people who don't matter. And because of that, the world underestimates you until it's too late. Being a Sigma male isn't about acting tough or intimidating others. It's about moving in silence, thinking 10 steps ahead, and staying untouchable in a world full of noise. You don't play by society's rules, not because you want to rebel, but because those rules were never designed for someone like you. You're self-sufficient, immune to manipulation, and capable of walking away from anything that no longer serves you. That alone makes you dangerous in a world where most people are trapped by their own need for approval. The truth is, people fear what they don't understand. They mistake your independence for arrogance, your silence for weakness, and your patience for inaction. But you know better. You know that real power isn't about proving yourself, it's about knowing yourself. This isn't about becoming dangerous for the sake of it. It's about understanding the power you already have and using it wisely. If you recognize these signs in yourself, don't doubt them. Refine them. Because the most powerful force in the world is the man who doesn't need it to recognize him. Let's get started, brothers. Number 1. He sees right through you and doesn't say a word. Most people think they're clever. They believe their words, their charm, or their carefully crafted lies can fool anyone. And to some extent, they're right. Most people fall for it. But a Sigma male? He doesn't. He can read people like an open book, not just what they say, but what they don't say. The hesitation in their voice, the slight change in their breathing, the micro-expressions they can't control, all of it gives them away. He doesn't need to call them out, and he definitely doesn't need to prove that he sees through them. He just knows. And that's where the real danger lies. Most people, when they catch a lie or sense manipulation, react. They get angry, they argue, they try to expose the deception. But a Sigma male doesn't waste his energy like that. He lets people think they're getting away with something, all while quietly storing that information for later. That's what makes him terrifying, not his words, but his silence. You never truly know what a Sigma male is thinking. He doesn't show his hand, doesn't seek revenge impulsively, and never lets emotions cloud his judgment. Instead, he watches. He waits. And when the time is right, he moves in a way that leaves no room for defense. Most people go through life wearing masks, pretending to be something they're not. A Sigma male rips through those illusions without saying a word. And the scariest part, you won't even realize he's done it until it's too late. Number 2, he learns from every attack and never falls for the same trick twice. Most people stumble through life making the same mistakes over and over, falling for the same tricks, trusting the wrong people, and getting burned repeatedly. A Sigma male, he operates differently. The first time you deceive, manipulate, or try to control him, he lets it happen. Not because he's weak, but because he's studying you. He's watching how you move, how you think, what tactics you use. He doesn't react emotionally or impulsively. Instead, he dissects the situation like a scientist analyzing a failed experiment. And once he understands the pattern, the trick loses all power over him. Try the same move twice and you'll find the door slammed shut. He won't argue, he won't seek revenge. He simply ensures that whatever worked on him before never works again. That's what makes him so dangerous. Every attack, every setback, every betrayal only sharpens his instincts. He doesn't waste pain, he converts it into wisdom. And that wisdom makes him untouchable. The people who try to control him often don't even realize the shift. They keep trying, unaware that he has already outgrown their games. And when they finally notice, it's too late. He has moved on, evolved, and become someone they can no longer manipulate. A Sigma male doesn't just survive attacks, he turns them into weapons. The more you try to break him, the more impossible he becomes to break. Number 3, he moves in silence until it's too late. Most people love to talk. They announce their plans, make threats, seek validation, or try to intimidate others with words. A Sigma male does none of that. He doesn't waste time trying to convince anyone of what he's capable of. He just does it. You won't hear him coming. He doesn't move with noise, arrogance, or unnecessary theatrics. He observes, calculates, and acts with precision. And by the time you realize what's happening, the game is already over. That's what makes him so dangerous. Not his presence, but his ability to move undetected. A Sigma male understands that power isn't in talking, it's in execution. While others waste time trying to impress or warn their enemies, he's already 3 steps ahead, making moves in the shadows. He doesn't give people a chance to prepare, to counter, or to fight back. His silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. This is why people underestimate him. They mistake his quiet nature for passivity, assuming that because he isn't boasting, he isn't a threat. But silence is his greatest weapon. It keeps people guessing, keeps them in the dark. And when he finally strikes, there's no defense left. He doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't need an audience. His success speaks for itself, and by the time anyone notices, it's already too late. Number 4, he doesn't react, he calculates. Most people are predictable. They get angry, frustrated, or provoked, and they react immediately. Their emotions control them, making them easy to manipulate. A Sigma male? He's different. He doesn't react. He calculates. When someone tries to provoke him, he doesn't lash out. He doesn't get flustered, and he definitely doesn't act on impulse. Instead, he steps back, observes, and dissects the situation with surgical precision. He studies the person, the motive, and the potential consequences. He knows that the first move isn't always the best move. Sometimes the real power lies in waiting, and that's what makes him dangerous. His patience isn't passivity, it's strategy. While others burn themselves out in pointless battles, he's conserving his energy, learning, adapting. When he finally makes his move, it's not emotional, it's calculated. And that's why he almost never loses. People who rely on aggression and intimidation don't know how to handle a Sigma male. They expect an immediate response, but instead they get silence. They expect to push his buttons, but find out he has none. And when they least expect it, when they think they've won, he acts. And by then, they're already trapped in a game they didn't even know they were playing. A Sigma male knows that real strength isn't about reacting, it's about controlling the outcome. And that's why no one ever sees him coming. Number 5, he's a master of psychological warfare. Most people fight battles with words, aggression, or brute force. A Sigma male fights a different kind of battle, one that takes place entirely in the mind. And the scariest part? You won't even realize you're in a game until you've already lost. He doesn't need to threaten, yell, or throw punches to dominate a situation. His presence alone is enough to unsettle people. Why? Because he doesn't react like everyone else. You try to provoke him, and he doesn't flinch. You test his patience, and he doesn't budge. You expect an argument, a defense, a counterattack, but all you get is silence. And that silence forces you to start questioning yourself. This is where his power lies. While most people expose their emotions, fears, and insecurities the moment they're challenged, a Sigma male remains unreadable. He lets you make the first move, the second, and even the third, all while analyzing your every weakness. You don't realize that the more you push, the more information you're giving him. And when he finally acts, he doesn't need force. He knows exactly where to hit. A Sigma male doesn't play fair because he doesn't play at all. He lets others destroy themselves with their own arrogance while he simply watches, waits, and strikes when there's no possible escape. That's the art of psychological warfare, winning without ever lifting a finger. Number 6, he has no fear of abandoning everything and walking away. Most people stay in situations long past their expiration date, clinging to toxic relationships, dead-end jobs, or fake friendships out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of the unknown. A Sigma male, he has none of that. What makes him so dangerous is his ability to detach instantly. He doesn't beg, he doesn't plead, he doesn't hold on to something that no longer serves him. If a situation turns toxic, if a relationship becomes a burden, if a person proves to be a liability, he's gone. No warnings, no drawn-out goodbyes, just silence and distance. This terrifies people because they don't have power over him. They can't guilt-trip him into staying. They can't manipulate him with emotional blackmail. He sees through all of it, and more importantly, he doesn't care. He values his peace over any attachment, and that makes him immune to the control that keeps most people trapped. And here's the real danger. When he walks away, he never looks back. There's no lingering resentment, no regrets, no second chances. He erases people like they never existed. It's not cruelty, it's efficiency. He understands that the ability to walk away from anything at any time is the ultimate freedom. Most people are prisoners of their own attachments. A Sigma male. He's untouchable because nothing owns him. Number 7. He lets others think they have the upper hand. The most dangerous people aren't the loudest, the most aggressive, or the ones constantly proving themselves. They're the ones who sit back, let you think you're in control, and silently pull the strings without you even realizing it. That's the Sigma male's specialty. He doesn't need to flex his intelligence, his strength, or his strategy. He's more than willing to let others feel superior, to let their egos swell, to let them underestimate him. Why? Because when people think they're winning, they get sloppy, they reveal too much, they make mistakes, and that's when he strikes. A Sigma male knows that power isn't about constant dominance, it's about control. And control often looks like patience. He's not interested in pointless battles or proving a point to people who don't matter. Instead, he watches, waits, and plays the long game. He lets people overplay their hand, lets them believe they've won, and then, when the time is right, he makes his move, calculated, precise, and impossible to counter. This is what makes him so dangerous. Most people react out of pride, emotion, or insecurity. He reacts only when it benefits him. By the time you realize you were never in control, by the time you see how the pieces were actually moving, it's already over. And the Sigma male? He's already 3 steps ahead, watching as you fall into a trap he set without ever lifting a finger. Number 8. He has no need to be liked, so he will do what needs to be done. Most people are shackled by the need for approval. They weigh every decision against how it will be perceived, constantly seeking validation and fearing judgment. Not the Sigma male. He has no need to be liked, and that freedom makes him far more dangerous than anyone realizes. When it's time to make a tough call, he doesn't hesitate. Whether it's cutting someone off, ending a project, or making a hard decision that might alienate others, he does it without guilt or second thoughts. He knows that in order to stay on top, sacrifices must be made, and if those sacrifices mean losing people's approval, so be it. This is the stark reality. A Sigma male doesn't let emotions cloud his judgment. He doesn't get caught up in the discomfort of being disliked or misunderstood. He sees the bigger picture, the long-term benefits of doing what needs to be done, and he acts. Whether that means taking a loss in the short term or making enemies along the way, he will do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. The people who fear conflict, rejection, or confrontation are predictable because they will compromise, bend, or hesitate to keep the peace. But a Sigma male doesn't care about peace. He cares about results, and that's what makes him ruthless and unstoppable. When the stakes are high and the decision is clear, he doesn't flinch. He does what needs to be done, regardless of who likes it or not. Number 9. He will never show his full hand, no matter how close you think you are. No matter how long you've known him, no matter how many times you think you've cracked his code, the Sigma male will always keep you guessing. He's not the type to lay everything out on the table, no matter how close you get or how much you think you understand him. His inner workings are locked behind layers of guarded silence. Even when you think you're in his inner circle, you're only seeing what he wants you to see. His true motivations, his long-term goals, and his ultimate strategy are hidden from view. He might share fragments, little pieces of himself, but never the full picture, and that's what keeps him unpredictable and dangerous. Most people are transparent, wearing their thoughts and emotions on their sleeves, making it easy to figure them out. A Sigma male? He doesn't work like that. He moves in silence, letting you think you know him, but always keeping you one step behind. And when the time comes, he's the one in control, because by the time you realize you don't really know him, it's already too late. This is what makes him so elusive. His mystery isn't an accident, it's a strategy. The more you try to get close, the more he pulls away, never fully revealing his true hand. And that's what makes him not only difficult to understand, but nearly impossible to outmaneuver. You'll never see his full game because he never lets you, and that makes him a master of control. Number 10. He's willing to let you destroy yourself. The Sigma male doesn't need to waste energy or resources destroying his enemies. He doesn't chase conflict or go out of his way to take people down. Why bother? He understands a fundamental truth. Most people are their own worst enemies. He knows that if left unchecked, arrogance, impatience, and reckless decisions will always lead to self-destruction. So instead of engaging, he sits back and watches. With a sharp eye and patient demeanor, he observes as people dig their own graves, often without even realizing it. This isn't about passivity, it's about knowing how people operate. Most are driven by their egos, their need for instant gratification, or their unwillingness to face the hard truths about themselves. The Sigma male sees it all. He knows that they will eventually expose their weaknesses, overreach, and falter. And when they do, he's there, watching from the sidelines, never having lifted a finger to make it happen. What makes him truly dangerous is his ability to remain detached while others spiral. He doesn't need to involve himself in petty arguments or power struggles. He simply lets people's own flaws and impatience take care of the problem. By the time they realize what's happening, they've already lost. The Sigma male knows that time is the ultimate weapon. So he lets people's own arrogance, pride, or haste bring them down. And when they've destroyed themselves, he's still standing, untouched, and ready to move forward. In addition, Sigma males can withstand solitude indefinitely. Exile, rejection, and isolation. These are things that crush most people, sending them into spirals of loneliness and desperation. Not the Sigma male. In fact, solitude doesn't just affect him, it fuels him. Where others crumble under the weight of being alone, he thrives. A Sigma male is perfectly content with disappearing from society for as long as it takes. He doesn't need constant validation. He doesn't need a crowd to feel whole. He is completely self-sufficient. While the world around him runs on social validation and external connections, he operates in his own sphere, unaffected by the pressure to conform or engage. This ability to withstand solitude indefinitely makes him virtually untouchable. He doesn't fear being left behind, ostracized, or abandoned. In fact, he welcomes it if it means he can focus and work on his own terms. While the world falls apart with its need for connection, he stands firm, clear-minded, and undistracted. In a world where people constantly seek distractions, relationships, and social approval, the Sigma male's independence is his superpower. He can sit in silence, alone, for days, months, or even years without breaking. He uses solitude to recharge, recalibrate, and strategize. And this makes him immune to one of the most powerful tools used to manipulate and control others, the fear of being alone. Most people are terrified of isolation, but for a Sigma male, solitude is his sanctuary, where he becomes even more dangerous, more focused, and more unstoppable. As I wrap up, conclusion. The Sigma male is a different breed. He doesn't play by the usual rules that most people follow, rules of noise, validation, or constant interaction. Instead, he operates from a place of quiet strength, strategic thinking, and deep self-awareness. The signs we've explored show that his power lies not in brute force or loud declarations, but in his ability to remain calm, calculated, and in control, even when others are falling apart. As a Sigma male, you don't need anyone to validate your existence. You don't need the spotlight, and you certainly don't need to engage in petty games. You understand the value of silence, the weight of patience, and the quiet force of independence. You're not dangerous because you make threats or try to manipulate situations. You're dangerous because you can see through the chaos, let people destroy themselves, and never once lift a finger. This is your strength, the ability to stay detached, observe, and strike only when it's in your best interest. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need the approval of others to feel fulfilled. Your inner power is what makes you a force to be reckoned with. So, to all the Sigma males reading this, own it. Embrace your quiet strength, your unwavering independence, and your ability to remain unshaken by the world's chaos. You are more dangerous than most realize because you don't operate from fear, ego, or desperation. You operate from a place of knowing who you are and staying true to that, no matter what. And that, my friend, makes you unstoppable. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video. God bless you.